This is Hannibal from the HannibalTV.com, and it is Boxing Day today, and I'm continuing to go through all the boxes from my storage unit of old wrestling stuff I have that has been pretty much been boxed up since I moved out of my parents' house in the summer of 2001, so 21 years ago. And today I'm going to review The Wrestler, which was a magazine I used to pick up quite often. April 1998 edition. I reviewed a 1993 magazine not too long ago, and I actually sold it on eBay for $15, which was better than throwing it out. So, and I signed it for that person. So I am also going to sell this one on eBay after, starting at 350 Canadian for anyone interested in picking it up as I continue to go through my magazines and toys. But it's interesting to look at the times in wrestling that were more entertaining than today. So WCW was on top, and at this point in time, it looked like the NWO was winning, as we see here. My good friend Buff Bagwell, before addiction ruined him, and I hope he can get help for that. Scott Hall, who sadly passed away this year. Conan, Kevin Nash, Scott Norton, who I've interviewed. Ravishing Rick Rude, who's passed away due to supposedly penile Viagra injection gone wrong, causing him to drug overdose at only about 40 years old, same age as I am now. And Eric Bischoff. All right. As we look inside, we see Ken Shamrock standing over Farouk and Shane Douglas and Francine. I was booked to wrestle Shane Douglas 3 times as Blood Hunter. And unfortunately, due to COVID and a few other reasons, it never happened. So we eventually just gave up on ever having that match. As we look on the inside here, we see Rocky Maivia, who was still known as Rocky Maivia, I guess, standing over Steve Austin. Notice how this was 1998. I don't think WWE was steroid testing at this time, but he's much bigger now than he was in 1998. In his 50s, he's bigger there. When he's still in his 20s. We see Jacqueline managing Harlem Heat. We see George Steele, who I guess was still in action here and there then, choking Mr. Ooh La La, who I have no idea who that is. More about Austin and Rocky Maivia, and then Hulk Hogan and Bischoff at the bottom there. Which obviously those were all important characters. LOD was still alive at this time. And they're talking about, it's funny. It says the Road Warriors won't likely be sporting an entirely new look anytime soon. Well, when in reality, they became LOD 2000 not too long after this, with Sonny managing them. And again, the old days where you'd have to send in your credit card information via mail, which no one would do nowadays with the internet. Vince McMahon getting tough. Vince McMahon, by the way, is still the owner of the World Wrestling Federation. Oh, this is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Thumbs up to Disco Inferno. Tom Brandy, who ended up stealing the Patriots gimmick. Chris Benoit and Scott Hall. Thumbs down to Shawn Michaels, Rocky Maivia, J.J. Dillon, and Chris Candido. Very interesting. I guess Disco was the TV champion at this time. They're talking about Tom Brady feuding with Mark Mero, I guess. Vader delivering a splash onto Kane. Vader, I think, what was it? I forget what year it was. May have been 2019, around December 2019 when I did my interview with him. He's very well missed. We see Beetlejuice, aka Art Barr, Portland legend, who Eddie Guerrero used to be tag team partners with here. Devin Storm, who ended up becoming Crowbar later. I actually remember at Survivor Series, the night after Survivor Series 97 in Ottawa, Canada for the Raw, Devin Storm wrestled in a dark match when I guess he was still being looked at by both companies. Goldberg, I think this is when he was still on his win streak with Eddie Guerrero. Frustrated by his failure to reach his goals as an NFL player, Bill Goldberg plans to take his anger out on anyone who dares cross his path in the wrestling business. Oh, sorry, that's Hector Guerrero that he wrestled here. Hector Guerrero, who I think was the gobbledygooker. I guess they wrestled in either WCW or they're just posing there, because I don't really remember Hector Guerrero in WCW, but anything's possible. Big thing on Rocky Maivia, still known as Rocky Maivia, dropping the people's elbow there. On, who is that anyways? Ahmed Johnson. Everybody's favorite. Let's see some of your comments here. Alfred likes these old magazines. Taylor, oh, well, thank you for watching. Green Onions used to have that issue. T says the good old days. It was 1998. Hello to Tom. It was Nash and Hall's ego why Goldberg lost. They did beat him too soon. You can actually look. It wasn't too far that after Goldberg's loss where the company started to lose all momentum. More pictures of The Rock giving a lifter, I guess, to Ahmed Johnson there. Fans. There's that guy. This guy became, I forget, I don't know his name. He's still around now. I saw a picture with him recently. The fan convention. He always used to appear. One of you guys can tell me who he is. Pointing at him now. In like all the WrestleManias. He was like the fan that everybody knew. Here's some Hall of Famers talking about The Undertaker. Let's see what Ole Anderson had to say about The Undertaker. Let's see here. I'll read you what Ole Anderson had to say about The Undertaker. Well, nobody except the Giant or maybe Kevin Nash is going to overpower The Undertaker. Everybody knows how strong he is, but he can't hurt you if you can't catch you, right? I've always said the key to beating The Undertaker would be to using your speed. Stay one step ahead of him and keep moving, almost like a boxer. He doesn't move that fast, so if you use that style, I think you can beat him. Unfortunately, too many guys get sucked into toe-to-toe brawls with him. So there's Ole's opinion. And here's some random pictures. George the Animal Steele. Got a fan or a radio guy in a headlock. Terry Taylor on top of Teddy Long, who in my experience was a real piece of crap. Me and Mark Ash getting married. Never heard of him before. Who else have we got here? The Godwins posing with someone, the Giant with a kid. Oh, Ben Brock, star of the movie Flubber. I remember the name Flubber, but I don't remember the movie. Greg Valentine posing with some kids. Then we have RVD in a trailer. I always heard that Sabu had a trailer and took a trailer everywhere in ECW. So, oh, but it says here that's Fonzie's mobile home. So maybe we all know Sabu and RVD were close friends. Maybe them and Fonzie all rode together in mobile homes. As we continue to go through this, Shawn Michaels, of course, was one of the top stars in WWE at this time. There's some old pictures of them. Bret Hart in a headlock versus Kevin Nash. Old picture of the Rockers. Marty Jannetty, nobody's heard from in a while. I hope he's doing okay. Here's an old picture from the scrapbook. Oh my God. By the way, I haven't looked at this magazine since 1998. Dory Funk Jr. in the hospital, but look at this. Kevin Sullivan with Mike Graham. Kevin Sullivan. Look at him here. Look how young Kevin Sullivan looks. Always enjoy listening to the Kevin Sullivan podcast at this channel. And they go back to March 83. Larry Zbyszko and Killer Tim Brooks, who passed away in recent years. And then Hulk Hogan wrestling Nick Bockwinkel. AWA really dropped the ball letting Hulk Hogan go. He was hairy. I think you're talking about George Steele. Raven and Saturn, yeah, they were popular there. Goldberg, yeah, he was just in here. Yeah, RVD and Sabu probably wrestled high for sure. Yeah. I know Sabu wrestled me high for PCW Ultra. I didn't give a damn. Ken Shamrock. At this time, that was one of The Rock's big feuds against Ken Shamrock, who probably should be in the WWE Hall of Fame by now. You see Shamrock against Farouk. Shamrock beating some people down. Yeah, I wouldn't say that there was steroid testing in WWE at this time. Just by, you can look at the development there and then look at Shamrock in the later years when they did test for steroids in UFC. Some NWO stuff there. Sad to see Miss Elizabeth in the ring. It's sad that Miss Elizabeth isn't in the WWE Hall of Fame. The original diva. More stuff on the NWO. Of course, Scott Hall, big part of the NWO. They all looked like they were having so much fun in those days at WCW. The Steiner brothers, I guess this was before Scott Steiner turned heel. Which, by the way, I don't think WCW was doing any testing in these days. When competition gets high, it seems like they do allow testosterone replacement therapy in WWE now, and I hear they don't test for growth hormone. Not positive on that. And of course, the part-timers have different rules than the new guys signing, but it seemed like there was a lot more muscle men in these days as we see the Road Warriors in action and some old pictures of the Road Warriors and the Steiners. Francine, who has an interview on this channel, and Shane Douglas, and they're both looking good there. Douglas looking jacked. Bam Bam Bigelow, who's passed away now, had a good run in ECW with Shane. Chris Candido and Lance Storm sporting his rat tail. I think Lance Storm works for Impact now as an agent. I'm not sure. Impact got a 0.01 rating this week. Good for them. They actually made a rating, unlike New Japan. It didn't even get a rating the week leading into Wrestle Kingdom. Didn't get high enough to even make 0.01. Mean Gene with Arn Anderson. I only ever was in the room with Mean Gene once, and I was too shy to shake his hand, and I regret it. I really regret it. Disco Inferno getting slammed by Miss Jack. Oh, this is interesting. This must have been the time where Disco Inferno was fired. Here he is getting slammed by Jacqueline, where it says his next stop would be WWF. She'd love to get a match or two with him. And it was rumored that the original Rockabilly was supposed to be Honky Tonk Man and Disco Inferno. But he made a deal to come back to WCW. He probably would have it would have been better if he had gone to WWE for his career, but because I believe it. I mean, at the point where I interviewed him, he was working as a doorman at a strip club, or either a doorman or a host. I think he would have been in his late 40s, early 50s then, still working as a doorman. I can't see him really being a bouncer, so maybe it was a host. Dino Bravo locked up with Greg Valentine. And who's on top? Terry Funk and Eddie Gilbert. This was them having a chain match in '93. Showing some old clips of Lex Luger, the time when he broke free of the Horsemen, and then a more recent. I don't know. That's just going back. I liked Lex Luger when he was one of the Horsemen. Yeah, more pictures from around that time. Oh, remember the hotlines? I mean, the internet still wasn't as big, anywhere near what it is today back then. Call the ECW hotline. Get all the latest news. Oh, and here's the rankings. Everybody's favorite part, the rankings. Let's go through them. The top 10 was WWF World Champion Shawn Michaels. Sting, WCW World Champion, was number 2. Diamond Dallas Page, number 3, U.S. Heavyweight Champion. Number 4, The Undertaker was the number 2 contender. Ultimo Dragon, WCW Cruiserweight Champion. Number 5, Owen Hart was what year is April '98? This is sad. This was the month before Owen Hart passed away. He was number 6, so that shows you he was doing pretty good. He was number 3 contender to the WWE World Title at this time. Kurt Hennig, number 7. Sadly, he passed away really young too. Steve Austin, number 8. Eddie Guerrero, number 9. Taz, number 10. Tag teams, Billy Gunn and Jesse James, the New Age Outlaws, were the WWF champions. Rick and Scott Steiner were the WCW champions. Chris Candido and Lance Storm were the ECW champions. Masa Chono and Kiji Moto, the Great Muta, who's retiring next month, were the New Japan champions. The Blackjacks, remember them? Barry Windham and Bradshaw were the WWF Tag Champions. Harlem Heat. For some reason, Barry Windham, other than the first run with Mike Rotundo, he never really could get over in WWE. The Widowmaker never got over, really. The Stalker never got over. The New Blackjacks never got over. Strange. Harlem Heat, number 6. Henry and Phineas Godwin, number 7. Number 8, Little Guido. Tracy Smothers, sadly, is gone now. The Headbangers, number 9. The Barbarian and Ming, number 10, who I have faced them with Too Cold Scorpio as my partner. I won't go through all the rankings, but it basically shows WCW, WWF, MCW, Music City Wrestling. Let's go through this one. MCW, Terry Golden was the champion. Colorado Kid, number 1. Number 2, Flash Flanagan, my old Puerto Rico roommate. Number 3, Wolfie D. Number 4, Doug Gilbert. Number 5, Stephen Dunn. Number 6, Billy Travis. Number 7, Frenchie Riviera. Number 8, Rex King. Number 9, Thrill Billy. Number 10, Dutch Mantel. Dutch Mantel was still wrestling in 1998. And of course, Rex King and Stephen Dunn were Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn, I guess. Let's look at the ECW rankings. Shane Douglas, ECW champion. Number 1, Taz. Number 2, Sabu. Number 3, The Sandman. I've wrestled Sabu and The Sandman. Number 4, Rob Van Dam, who has a bunch of interviews on this channel. Number 5, Just Incredible, who I wrestled, and he changed the finish to me on the match, showing up intoxicated for the match. Number 7, Tommy Dreamer. I beat him. Number 7, Great Suzuki. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Number 8, Paul Diamond. Number 9, Jerry Lane. Number 10, Chris Chetty. So there you go. Gives you an idea of who was on top in those days. Then there's ratings analysis. Shane Douglas has a lot of water retention in his face here. Wonder why he has so much water retention. But yeah, I did put the link in the description if anyone wants to bid on this magazine. Only $3.50. And if you want to, I'll even sign it for you. I'll just get through a few more of your comments. Yeah, Vern wanted to keep that Hogan merch money. Vern made a huge mistake there. Lars Sullivan put me over strong. Oh my God, I somehow doubt that. There's a guy that kind of faded away really fast. Why isn't the Midnight Express in the Hall of Fame? Well, they weren't over in Canada, for one thing. Other than the southern states, no one really cared about them. And the Ming and Barbarian should be in there before the Midnight Express and the Warlord, for that matter. They were actual WWE stars, and the Rougeau brothers. I mean, for God's sake, you don't think the Faces of Fear should be in the Hall of Fame before the Midnight Express? No, Lance Storm didn't want to do an interview with me. I did train with him a bunch of times when he first opened his school in Calgary, and I was still living out there. There is an interview with him and John Paz on my channel. Maybe I could interview the kid of Rick Rude sometime. Who knows? Yeah, vintage NWA. The NWO was on top at this point, for sure. For sure. In April 98, Shamrock was feuding, or someone was feuding with Triple H before joining the Nation. Maybe it was The Rock you're talking about. Merry Christmas to me and Piper, who's down there watching me. She's resting. Al Snow was in ECW in 98. True. He was most over, I think, in ECW. Did I watch WrestleMania 14 live? No, I did not. You'd love to see me interview Lars. That'd be an interesting one for sure. I don't know. It'd be awkward. It would be real awkward. Imagine if he had opened an OnlyFans account when he was still in WWE, containing his porn videos and stuff. He never really made any extra money off the porn videos that came out when he was in WWE. But that was a case of a guy. Sometimes they give, like, he hadn't really done anything before WWE. If you don't pay your dues, you don't appreciate when you get the opportunities. And he had some great opportunities and blew it. Trust me, if I had ever been given opportunities like him, I would have got over huge. but I never got any opportunities because when I did get signed, the Hep C diagnosis killed my chances. But I got over 210 million views on my channel. A lot more on Facebook. We're very popular on Facebook at the Hannibal TV. And I've been pretty self-made. So I think I would have had a successful career, but I'm happy where I'm at now. So wish everyone a good night. I don't think I'm going to do any more live streams tonight because I'm going to go have a nice Boxing Day dinner soon of roast beef and so forth, which I'm looking forward to, with Piper, who it sucks. Her health has been up and down lately, so I'm just gonna let her rest. She was diagnosed with a heart murmur and heart valve issues after about a month ago. She choked on a piece of cheese, and they're not sure if it was the choking that caused her to have the heart issue that night or the heart issue caused the choking. But she almost died on that night. I had to give her CPR. And she's had a few weird nights since, but she's stable now. But some days she's fully herself, others she's not. So I'm just letting her rest today. I'm not going to make her show herself. But God bless you all. Hope you have a good Boxing Day. And thanks for your continued support.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe